Hello, folks. I'm going to be going over a game that's just started shipping from Kickstarter, or rather, started arriving from Kickstarter. This game is called Reichbusters Projekt Vril. It's essentially a cooperative. Um, I guess you could say it's a squad-based type game. The players are playing as a squad against the board. The board has AI that plays itself, so it is fully cooperative, and it's essentially your squad's going in and fighting Nazis, and the Nazis have zombies and mechanized monstrosity units, that type of stuff, as long as other regular shoulders or soldiers and whatnot. Um, there is a lot of iconography in the game. There's a lot of keywords in the game. Um, Other than that, it does not seem like it's too difficult to play. So after a few plays, you'll probably remember what most. You'll definitely remember what most or all the iconography does. You may or may not remember what the keywords are, but there is a glossary at the end of the rulebook that goes over the keywords. Rulebook is okay. Um, it's decently set up. It goes through all the main concepts first, essentially, and then goes through the different actions. So it's a decent rule book. Sure, it could be better, but it could also be a lot worse. So basically, we'll just go over a couple of the key concepts here. I'll just kind of run through the rule book essentially. So basically, um, on your turn, you're going to take two actions. You have a total of 7 different actions you can choose from. You can certainly do some of the actions multiple times, but the two actions you can only do once per turn are move, which allow you to move from one area to another area, and attack, which allows you to attack essentially. The other actions are search. So if there's this allows you to pick up one item in the area you are in. If it's face up, you just pick it up and it's yours. It goes onto your dashboard. If you don't have a slot for it, you'll have to drop something else or what have you. If it's face down, you will have to make a noise check. And that is a key concept of this game. Is your squad's trying to sneak through the map without alerting the Nazis. And so anytime you see an icon on a tile, for instance, that one there, that white, that the 3 with the white, you can't tell it's a cube, but it's shaded as a cube. That's how many noise dice you will roll when you attack with that weapon. And there's different colored dice, so here's just a noise die. You will roll that. If you're searching, you're picking up a face down item or weapon. There will be a notation for noise, how many noise dice you have to roll. If you get a success, so in other words, not a blank, or then you're gonna have to draw a noise card, and you will do the top half of the noise card. Go ahead and grab one of those. So let's say we rolled. Let's say I had to roll 2 dice. I rolled 3. That's 3 successes on a noise dice, which are bad. You don't want successes. You would draw a noise card. So let's say I drew this noise card. So I do the top half, which says discard 2 cards or add 2 successes to my total. Right now my total is only 3. So adding 2 to it would give me 5. Now, why do I care about that? Because the number in the center of the card, 7, if you meet or exceed that value on your noise check, your noise roll, you then have to do the bottom half of the card. So at this point, adding 2 to my 3 I already rolled isn't really going to do much because it's 5. It's still lower than 7. So I'd probably just add the 2 successes to my total instead of discarding 2 of my cards. Now, if it had been 7 or over, then an enemy patrol appears and it is marked as suspicious. That brings us to another key concept in the game is the alert level of a room. A room can be unsuspicious, suspicious, or on alert. If it's unsuspicious, then the enemies in that room, they're not essentially looking for you. As soon as basically an enemy draws line of sight to you, or each time a hero moves into that room, a new hero that unit has not seen before moves into that room, the alert level will go up by 1. Now, that only happens once per round. So you can't go from unsuspicious to on alert in 1 round. It's going to take a couple rounds to get there. Basically, there's a tracker, and when I change the shot, you'll be able to see that. There's a tracker with how many rounds there are until essentially the alarms go off on the map, and then everybody's looking for you, and it's a try to complete your mission as quick as you can, and then get out a dodge, or Nazi Germany, I guess. So if a room is on alert at the end of their turn and an enemy's turn, they will increase that level by 1. So you don't want rooms to remain on alert. You basically, if something goes on alert, you want to wipe out all the enemies in that room so that clears that awareness level of that room. If an room is on, let's say it's on suspicious, and a enemy unit that is on alert moves into it, then the entire room goes on alert. So any enemies that were already in that room will also go on alert. So that's the awareness levels, and we'll go over that more as we start to play. I'm going to try to play through it's probably not going to be a quick game, but a couple rounds at least. Another action you can take is a ready equipment action. That's essentially, in this game, you can jam, your weapon can jam, or if it's a Vril weapon, it can run out of juice and you need to recharge it. So that's a ready equipment will allow you to unjam your weapon or refill it, essentially. You can also draw 2 cards, so you can draw 2 cards up into your hand. At the end of your turn, if you do not have at least 5 cards in your hand, you will be able to draw up to 5 cards, I do believe. Let me double check that real quick, but I'm pretty sure that happens. It's at the end of the round. At the end of the round. End of the round phase. Yes, any player that with fewer than 5 cards draws 1 card. So you only draw 1 card. But if you have fewer than 5, you'll at least draw 1. You can also unlock or open a door. So if a door is locked, it takes an action to unlock that door. Then it takes a second action to open that door. If it's a how does that work with the keys? Hold on 1 second. If the door is locked and you don't have keys, this action will unlock it, but it does not open it. If the door is unlocked or locked and you have keys, then this action opens it. So it allows you to skip the unlock step, essentially. So you can unlock it and open it in one turn if you have or one action rather, if you have a set of keys. Now unlocking it and then opening it are going to make force noise tests. There are pretty much almost everything in this game does noise tests except melee attacks, at least from what I've gathered so far. So there is that. Then you can recover. So if you're knocked out, you've been knocked down, you can essentially recover. You can come back up and continue, or rather, not continue your turn. That pretty much takes your turn, I believe. If you have 4 or more permanent wounds, you're considered downed. You place it on your side to indicate you're downed. At that point, you can also be captured. There are certain parameters where enemies can surround you and you can be captured, and then you can't recover. Basically, when you recover, you discard all but 2 wound cards of your choice, and you can stand it up, and then you can play action cards as normal. So you do get to take your turn, but you are you're still wounded twice essentially. But your teammates do not want to allow enemy units to surround you essentially. So tests. All tests in the game are meet or exceed the number to succeed. Noise test, you don't want to succeed. Every other test, you basically do want to succeed. There's different die faces with the number of successes, and then there's these star faces here. These are essentially bursts, so this kind of acts like the zombie side style games, where this counts as a success, and then you roll another dice of the same type. So I'd roll a second white die, and then if I rolled another star, that would count as a success, and then I'd roll another white die and keep going, and so forth and so on. The red dice have also this symbol, which is what is this called? This is called I don't know what that side is called, but it's bad. It essentially this is what causes your Vril weapons to drain. So all Vril weapons will use the red die, and it will, if you have any of these left over, you can cancel these with a star. But if you have any of these left over after you're done rolling, your weapon's going to be drained. I don't think there are any other special die faces. The defense dice have shields instead of hits, so that's pretty self-explanatory. They all have a star on them, and so forth and so on. Let's see, what else? Trigger an effect. So the stars can also be used to trigger an effect. So you could use that star as it counts as a success no matter what. Then you have 2 options. You can choose to trigger an effect, which means you on one of your cards or items you might have, it might say if you have a star, you can use that to do this effect or whatever, or you can use it to roll another die of the same type. So you have a choice to make. Heroic points. That die face, that red die face is called a surge. That face right there is called a surge. It's got the lightning, but it's got the descent lightning bolts on it. Okay. This game pulls on a lot of concepts from other games, so it's made it actually easier to learn to play than having completely new concepts or completely new ways of doing things. You have heroic points that you can sometimes start with, or you can collect them as you go. These are basically, there's 3 types. There's an attack heroic point, a defense heroic point, and a wild heroic point. You can see the attack. Here's the defense on the left and the attack on the right. They basically allow you to automatically succeed a test. So if you play them before the test, it takes 1 to automatically succeed. If you decide to roll your dice and take your chances and you fail, you can still play them, but it costs 2 instead of 1 to automatically pass that test. So it's kind of a, push your luck. You want to take that chance that you're gonna, fail. I would imagine, if you're only rolling a couple dice, you're probably just gonna want to go ahead and spend the single one. But if, let's say, you're rolling 6 dice and you somehow, you have to get 2 results and you roll all blanks, then maybe you want to go ahead and use 2. It might be a good time to sacrifice that other one. You can randomly draw a heroic point each time you pacify a room or corridor. You have to do this in a single turn, and it must involve killing all the enemy units, at least 4, in the room or corridor. And you cannot use any heroic points. So basically, you have to kill 4 enemies in a room or a corridor by yourself in one turn without using any heroic points. And then you get to randomly draw a heroic point. The third type, which I mentioned, was a wild that can be used for either attacks or defenses. So a defense heroic point can only be used when you're rolling defense die. An attack can only be heroic point can only be used when you're rolling attack dice. We went over noise. Different things happen after when the alarm starts blaring. Then so normally before the alarm goes, if you have one success, automatically causes you to draw a noise card. When the alarm is going, you need 2 successes to draw a noise card. So it kind of gets a little bit better for you. The alarms are going off, so they don't make that noise check as difficult, I suppose. So moving, you essentially can go from one area to another area. Corridors are basically areas in themselves. There are small rooms that have an entire area, and there are larger rooms that are split up into 2 separate areas, or 4 separate, or 3 or 4 separate areas, depending on the room. When you wipe all enemies out of an area, you essentially will put a clear token in there, and this allows no more units in that room. So enemy patrols cannot enter from there. That means that they can't spawn behind you or in those rooms you've already cleared, because you are already in there. You know there's no bad guys. So if an enemy patrol comes, it's got to come from a different area. You can move into an area containing an enemy in one action, and then out in another action. However, you cannot move through an enemy space in one action. So some of these actions will give you 2 moves. You cannot move through an enemy occupied area essentially with those 2 moves. But if you do get those 2 moves, you can move from one area with enemies into another area with enemies. So you can move into the first area that has an enemy, and then into the second area that has an enemy with that one action. It just can't be out of, you can't get out of that zone of control, so to speak. Clear tokens attacking. You essentially go to your weapon that you're going to use. It tells you how many dice you're going to roll. You roll the dice, and you try to get the target do more than the defense value of the unit. Most units, just one wound will kill them. However, there are other units that require multiple wounds to kill, and if we get that far, we can go over that. There's a way to track wounds, etc. Searching, we went over. Readying equipment, we went over. Drawing 2 cards, bonus actions. So there are a couple bonus actions. You can play cards from your hand. You're gonna start with a deck or a hand of 5 cards. Each character has its own unique deck. Of, I believe they're 10 cards. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards. Sorry. 12 card decks. You'll start with a hand of 5. That you can play those. There's free actions, which basically are free actions. There are instant actions, which essentially the instant actions are going to be, it's kind of bad nomenclature. It's more of a response, like a reaction. So you're going to use your instant actions mainly on enemies' turns. And then there'll be modifiers. So let's say you're going to attack with a weapon. You can play a modifier card that's going to actually give you more dice or give you automatic successes or something of that nature. Then you can give or drop items. So if you share a space with somebody, you can give or drop items. Drop an item on the floor, or you can give them an item. You can use an item if you have it on your dashboard. So there's going to be slots. You'll see over here, there's 4 item slots. We have 2 weapon slots down here. This is the main card, and then we have I don't know, characteristics, titles. I'm not, traits essentially is what they are. Captured heroes. I'm not going to deep dive into that concept, but if it happens, we can go through it. Discarding and shuffling. So, you can play a card, it's going to go to your discard pile. When you have to draw cards and you do not have any more cards in your deck, what you're going to do is you're going to shuffle your discard pile to make a new deck. Then you're going to remove the top card from the game, and then you continue play. So it's kind of a built-in timer, kind of like Gloomhaven, where, although, yeah, I guess it is kind of like Gloomhaven. When your deck runs out, you have to shuffle that discard pile up. You're going to shuffle it, and you're going to take the top card, set it out of the game. Now you're down to 11 cards, and then 10 and 9, etc. Some cards will have you discard them after use. Some are stay in play until they're discarded. Some will be removed from the game completely. Some will last until the start of the next hero's turn. So essentially, it's good for your turn. Some will last until the start of your next turn. So they're active for other players' turns until you take a turn again. And then some, basically, you keep taking that until you fail. There's tiles. We'll go into the tiles and the breakdown and all that stuff. You can look at a couple of the cards here. So most of the character cards come in 2 halves. You choose which half you want to take, the top half or the bottom half, and then you do what it says. So, for instance, top half of Assassin, play after an enemy. That's an instant action. That's what the lightning bolt means. So you play after an enemy unit enters your tile. You move 1, and you can make an attack. So if you're in a room that has 2 areas, you can move, and they move into the other area. You can play this card and move into that area. Now, that card is then discarded. That's what the second symbol there in yellow means. And then the question mark with the white die there means that you're going to roll whatever your attack is for noise. Now, you say you choose the bottom half. That is a modifier symbol. Again, second symbol means you're going to discard after you do it. It's going to cost you 0 noise dice, and it allows you to re-roll all blank results. So you can play this after you make a test and re-roll all blank results. So that's kind of the rundown. Now we have squad leader and Ironhide here. These are going to be keywords. Let's look at the character card here first. So it has squad leader, and it's active until it's discarded. That's what that infinity symbol means. So that's the one thing. You get a little brief summary here. There's actually more on the back. More about Sarge here. And then it tells you his starting weapons. And that's pretty much that. Then we look at the weapon here. We got burst, so that's a keyword. So that's something you're going to have to look up. The crosshairs there to range. That means he can fire 2 areas away, as long as he has line of sight. You can see as far until you run into a wall or a closed door. There is no, you can only see 4 spaces ahead of you or something or anything like that. You can see, if there was one giant map that was 300 spaces long and it was all open doors and no walls, you could see all the way through it. Now, you don't have a weapon that's going to hit 300 spaces away, but still. Then you would roll 3 black attack dice and 3 white noise dice. Then for the pistol, you can shoot 1 space away, 2 black die, 2 white die. Squad leader, again, these are like the titles or the traits, essentially. They do various different things. I'm going to have to look all these up because I do not have these memorized at all. But that's essentially how you set the characters up. You take your deck of cards. You're going to shuffle those deck of cards. Boom, bing, bing, boom. So at this point, I'm going to switch cameras here. All right. So we have an overlay of the map. Well, kind of. There's a spot off the board here where they're going to start, just off board, and there's a whole other section way up top there. These maps are rather large, or at least this one is. There's 2 different ways to play this game. There is a campaign that you can play through, where you kind of build your characters up, so to speak, a little bit. Not much, but there is a little bit of it. And then there is what I have here, which is called a raid map. And that's essentially you're going to take, there's 3 decks of cards. You're going to take them, you're going to shuffle them up, you're going to draw 1 at random from each deck, and that's going to form your raid. So the first, you have a raid map deck. And that's essentially going to show you the map setup, the overlay. It tells you at the top, go to the mission book on page 20. You can't really see that, but it says page 20. So there's a separate book out of the rule book that's the missions. You go there and it gives you a detailed setup of it. Now, I will say this. There are a ton, and I mean a ton, of misprints or grammatical, I don't even know, they're not really grammatical errors. They're just errors where tiles are flipped. Instance, the art, like in the book, is flip-flopped. There's no way the tile actually looks like that, or it was misprinted. One of the two happened. But there's also where it tells you, there's use tile 7A twice. There's only one 7A. There is, so the tile that it shows does exist, and you could figure it out, but you can't just look at the numbers and be like, okay, I need this one, this one, this one, and this one. There are a couple threads on Board Game Geek right now that have errata for, here's what's wrong for each mission and each raid scenario. At least for the core set, I don't know if they've created those yet for the other expansions and whatnot. Let's see. So here's a brief overview. Over here on the right, over here are the enemy cards. I will, I'll change the camera view again here in a minute, and we can look into a little detail about those. I just kind of wanted you to see an overlay of the map. Over here on the left is the round tracker. So we start on round 1. When we get to the big red speakerphone right there, that's when the alarm starts sounding, and then we eventually have 4 additional rounds to complete the mission and get out. So that's that. So I'll pause again. I'll pause again real quick and change cameras, and then we'll continue on. All right. So I just want to show you this raid. Again, this is the map tile I chose. It gives you all the tiles. There is a bigger, more detailed version of this in the book on page 20. So you can do that. Then the second one is the raid objective card that you draw at random, and I have drawn Assassination. Gives you a little blurb at the top, additional setup steps. The objective, so the objective here is to essentially assassinate this Vril, which is enemy boss. She's at the very end of the map, etc. Then it tells you which tracker to use and which end tracker to use, if any. Then you also choose a Reichbusters team card, and this is essentially the team you're going. The bonuses, you still get to choose your characters, but this is the bonuses. So my team pool, I start with 3 heroic attack tokens, 3 heroic shield or defense tokens. Then it says the cost of changing a failed test to a success is always 1 heroic point. So remember how I said that if you choose to do that after the die roll, it costs 2. Because I am this team, it does not. It only costs. It still just costs 1. And then I started with these 4 additional traits, which I have applied. I applied Ironhide to this one. I basically gave each one of my characters one of the additional traits because they all start with 1. So that kind of varies your setup. You also draw a raid faction card, raid faction card. So I did. It was 4 cards you draw from, and this essentially gives you the faction. So Vril Overload gives you a rundown of all the enemies. So enemy group A is the officer, group B is the soldier, zombie is C, and it tells you their keywords because there's 2 zombies. There's zombie group C, which has 2 keywords, and then there's zombie group H, which actually has 3 keywords. So you do have to pay attention to that. Essentially, the yellows are the first time they appear, and then the whites lines are the second time they appear. So first column there is ranged attack. So they're going to roll 4 black die. They're going to be at range 1 that they can shoot the officer there. And they have +2 for support. So what that means is there's 2 officers. Rather than each officer getting a 4 die roll, you will roll 4 dice +2 for the additional officer that is in that area. They'll both attack at the same time. Same thing with the soldiers. They roll 4, however they can shoot 2 spaces away. Then they both do melee. 2 dice for the officers +2 support. The defense value is the 3rd column. 3, that's target number to hit them. So target number for officer is 3. You'll notice down here for zombies it's 7. And then the number is the maximum number of units that are available for the squad, essentially. So, for instance, you'll notice zombie has 12 here, and then zombie down there has 12. The game only comes with 12 zombies, so it's shared among both those. The game tells you, basically, when you look at this card, and there are these cards for the campaign scenarios as well, to take that number of units and set them out, beside the map, so you know exactly how many units you have. I have not done that here because these numbers are the max of each unit that comes in the game. So I just left them in their trays because I know that I can use basically every miniature in the game on this map if I so desire. And then down at the bottom, the Vrilmeister for this particular raid is Gisela Gruber, and she has a special card. So let's get one of the enemy cards over here. We got the soldier. It's a ranged, so he'll primarily use ranged. The titles that are below where it says soldier are essentially the raids and missions where this unit appears. So it's pretty easy. Rather than just looking at that card, you can go through your enemy cards and, I'm on the Vril Overlord mission, or Overload mission. I'm just going to pull out all the guys that have Vril Overload on them. Again, it has the stats at the top. Attack, 4 black die, 2 range, +2 support. Same thing for melee. Same thing for defense. The value is 4. Then it gives you his keywords there. Bodyguard. Heroes are unable to target officers or Vrilmeisters while a bodyguard unit is in the same area. So essentially you have to kill soldiers first. This unit gains +1 attack when on the same tile as an officer or a Vrilmeister. So if they share a tile with an officer or the boss, they get +1 attack, which basically gives them 5 black die to roll. They also have Dug In. This unit gains +1 defense while at a guard point. We'll see that when we go on to the map there. Or when I zoom down into the map, we'll show you what the guard points are. But this allows them to roll an additional, or not roll an additional, but increases that to a 5. Then they also have guard. If the unit begins its activation in an area with a guard point, count how many guard units are in that area. If there are fewer than 5 guards in total, the unit will remain in the area. So essentially these guys will pull up if they're patrolling into an area until there's 5 of them, and then they can start leaving. But essentially, this is what this is going to do is this is going to force them to capture a downed hero. And then this down here tells you that when that's not autofocus. When they die, they'll drop that loot. You can also spend when you're attacking a I believe it's a star. I have to look at that. Let me look at that real quick. Maybe that's only on Vril weapons. Attack. Wounds. Yeah, once during an attack, a star can be spent to cause the target to drop loot items. So if you kill him, he's going to drop a loot item. But until you kill him, you can also... Oh no. Never mind. I think I misread this. Once during an attack test, a star can be spent to cause the target to drop a loot type of the loot, a type of loot dropped or shown on his card. The target is killed. Place a random loot item face down in the target area before removing the miniature. So you have to spend that to get him to drop a unit or a item. There are several different types of items. There's a lot of cardboard in this game. So there's that. That's we went over the enemy card. We took a look at the alarm card, or the noise. Yeah, alarm noise cards. We'll get to the wound cards as I take wounds. We'll get to the spawn cards when we start spawning people. I think at this point I want to go down to the first room, and we can kind of go over the things, and then we can start playing. So let me pause here for another second, and I'll be right back. All right, so I think I got it set up here to where we can kind of do a quick overview of our room here. My guys are starting a little bit off camera here, over here behind this door. It is closed. These are the 3D terrain expansion doors that came with the Kickstarter. Well, they didn't come with the Kickstarter. I purchased them through the Kickstarter. Otherwise, it's just cardboard that's down there. This is a level 1 door. That's a level 1 door. You know it's a level 1 because there is one spot at the top. This door over here is a level 3 door. You know it's a level 3 door because it's 1, 2, 3. Now, nice little feature of these doors is they actually can open. So you know whether they're open, closed, etc. There are little lock icons or tiles. I'll get one of those right here. That's a lock token, and if it's sitting on top of a door, that door is locked, and you will either need to first unlock it and then open it, or if you have a set of keys, you'll be able to unlock and open it in one action. This symbol here, this kind of divider down the middle of the room here, divides this room into one area and a second area. This is an item. This is an item. This looks like a weapon style item. This looks like a cargo style item. This is a guard point. So when we were discussing guards, that's a guard point. If a hero is actually captured, they also count as a guard point as well. So there is that to keep in mind. Then we have two level 1 spawns. Level 1 spawn here, level 1 spawn here. What are those units? We don't know. And we won't know until we open the door and get a line of sight in there. At that point, we will draw a spawn card, and we will spawn what the card says. But we do kind of have an idea. You know, these aren't going to be the toughest bad guys. They're just kind of, a mix of the easier guys. Then we have 2 level 2 doors, one here and one here. Neither of those are locked. None of these doors... Actually, I think that's wrong. I think that third exit room is supposed to be locked. Nope. Huh. it is not. So, again, what's the difference between a level 1, level 2, level 3 door? A level 1 door makes 1 noise when you open it. A level 2 door makes 2 noise when you open it. And a level 3 door makes, you guessed it, 3 noise. Or rather, causes you to roll 3 dice. It doesn't make it. It could make a lot more noise. And it's actually it kind of indicated a little bit too in the way that, at least on these 3D doors, level 1s are just look like your standard door. Level 2s are kind of like a little heavier, with a like a sliding bar lock, and then a level 3s is like the submarine hatch where you got to spin the wheel and it's going to make a ton of noise as it creaks open, that type of thing. So they kind of put the little bit of flavor in there to that as well. So that's the map. We got our guys here. I'll go over, there are some room features additionally later in the map. If we get to those, I will go ahead and go through them, or at least give you kind of a brief overview of them. So there's an exit here. You can't see it. It's off board. Let's talk about this here, this A. Basically, once the alarm starts going, guys are going to continually spawn. And they will spawn at A, B, or C. And this indicates kind of where they come on the board from. So that's what A, B, and C are. Those are barracks A, B, and C. And then there are 3 exits. One is here. And then there's 2 others further on up the map. All right, so essentially the way turns go is a single player takes a turn. So before the alarm, the players decide in what order they go. So, and it can be different each turn. When the alarm starts going, there is a specific, or not a specific, but a random order that they will go in. We have these order tokens, and they will get shuffled and handed out, and that's the order that the players will go in that turn. And then again, shuffled. You know, it's to add to the confusion and the, oh my gosh, we got to get out of here quick, etc. There's no alert token in here yet, so they don't know we're coming yet, but they will. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's see here. One other thing I do want to show real quick is there are reference cards that came with this game that do a pretty decent job. I don't know if it's going to focus right or not. They're double-sided, gives you all the tests up here, the various iconography effects, the tokens, and then turn order, enemy turns, etc. So I have 2 actions I can take. I will just go ahead and go, let's see here. I'm going to turn to my keywords here. So Sarge has a keyword as squad leader, and squad leader says, this hero may play a single card from their own hand to modify an attack test of another hero in the same or an adjacent area. Okay, and then Ironhide, which is one of the additional ones I chose for him. Once per defense, a star may be spent to add 2 to the total, 2 successes to the total. So, who's going to do more damage? You know what? Actually, I'm going to go with Brick, but you don't see Brick on screen. I just have Sarge there. But Brick has 2 Uzis, or not Uzis. What are they? I don't know what they are. Submachine guns. That's what they are. And they have Burst. So let's see what Burst does here real quick. Burst. Once per attack, a star may be spent to add 2 successes to the total. And once a burst has been triggered, the attack may wound more than 1 target in the same area. So if you have extra damage, you can roll it over to another unit. And then they have unreliable. What does unreliable do? An unreliable weapon or item will become jammed when it is used unless it has a star spent on it during that action. So I have to spend a star in order to not have it jam. Okay. So we'll go with brick. Let me look at. Let me draw cards here. Draw cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a hand of 5 cards with brick here. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to set these over here, because I might be using those soon. Action number 1 is going to be to open a door, or open or unlock a door. This door is not locked, so I'm just going to open it. So that's one action. I've opened that door. Now, I instantly gain line of sight in here to this room, or rather this area. So this gets spawned. So we draw a spawn card. Maybe it's easier, better to show here. There we go. Yeah, maybe not. So level 1 spawns are up top here, and it gives me 2 letters. It gives me BB. That means I go to this card and see what B is. B is soldier, so I'm spawning 2 soldiers. So we'll put that spawn card there, and I'm going to get 2 soldiers here. And we got 2 soldiers in here now. That spawn token goes away. Now, alertness. Go back and look at that real quick. Where is awareness? Awareness, awareness, awareness. Where are you at? There it is, levels of awareness. A room or quarter will raise its level of awareness the first time an enemy unit sees any hero, regardless of what causes it. Do this up to once per room, per hero turn. Raise the awareness 1 level as soon as this happens. So, these guys spotted these guys in here, so boom. Or, when 1 or more heroes are in line of sight of 1 or more enemy units in that room or corridor at the end of an enemy turn. first time an enemy unit sees any hero, regardless of what causes it. Do this up to once per room or corridor per hero turn. Okay. So that gets raised as soon as it happens. So now this alertness value applies to this whole room, not just this section. Now, these guys also have line of sight over here because we have line of sight into this whole room. So I have to spawn them. So we'll draw another spawn card. This spawn card just has a single bee. It's hard. Can't get my camera to focus. Anyway, it's a bee, so it's another soldier. So we have a third soldier there. Now, now that those guys are there, I still have one action. And what I think I'm going to do I can attack, but yeah, I'm going to save these cards. I have a card that could probably wipe out these guys, but I don't want to do that just yet. I have a couple cards that allow me to make a melee attack, but he doesn't have any melee items. You can always make an unarmed attack that's just a single black die, so. But I don't think that's going to help me. Could do rat-a-tat-tat. Their defense is a 4. No, I'm just going to attack once. We'll just see what happens. All right. I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose this weapon here. And you'll see it has a burst keyword at the top. It also says it's unreliable. So I'm going to have to spend a star, otherwise this thing's going to be exhausted. Burst allows me to carry over damage if I spend a star. It has 4 range. I roll 4 black die and 3 white die. So, get those here. Make sure I have to spend a star for each of those, right? Otherwise it's going to be exhausted. Burst. I can spend a star. Yep. Once per attack. Oh, the star gives me +2 to the total. 2 successes. No, not 2 successes. 2 additional die. Okay. Alright. But then it can roll over. Alright. Alright, so let's do this. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Alright. 2 blanks, 2 successes, and a star. I'm going to use this star to trigger burst. That adds 2 dice to this attack. It's a 3 and another star. So right now I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes. I think I'm going to use this burst to roll another black die and hope for a success. I got 3 of them. Okay, so this was spent to do burst. This was spent to add an additional die. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hits. It takes, let me get the soldier thing here. I don't know why these cameras aren't focusing. Oh wait, I know why they're not focusing. Because I told them not to. Turn that off. I just don't want that guy to autofocus all the time. Let me tell you what, if I pull that out of there, is he going to stop autofocusing? Nope. Oh well, we'll just have to deal with it. Well, that's not even any better. Alright, hold on, let me undo that. The joys of editing video. Alright, we'll slide that back in there. And I'll just do that. Alright. So he has 4 defense. However, when he's at a defense, when he's at a guard point, which there is one there, that's the little soldier there in the blue icon, he gets +1 defense. So he's actually a 5. So 5 of these is enough to kill one of them. So we'll set him aside. Then I have 5 more left that can be rolled over to this one. And that kills him. Now, we'll move on to my... Oh, you know what? I think I should have made a noise check on that door when I opened it. Well, yeah, I'm going to make a noise check here for sure. So, what I rolled is 1 noise, 2 noise, 3 noise, and that's a burst. So, I roll an additional noise die. That's another burst. I roll an additional noise die. And that's 3 more. So, I have a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 noise die. Or noise that I've made. So, now I draw a noise card. And it says wasted time. It's really hard for you to see. I'll just read it. It says wasted time. The top part says reroll 1 noise die. I'm going to reroll this one that has 3. And it dropped it to a 1. So that leaves me at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The number in the middle is still 5. So it doesn't help me. I hit that number, so now I got to do the bottom part. An enemy patrol appears. It is at ease. 2 level 1s. So, let me look at the spawning rules here. For noise, alright, so they take the regular spawn rules. Spawning enemies, enemy patrols. Enter through a closed, non-exit door. The door must be closest to the hero whose turn it is, or most recently was. Okay, so because of that, they are going to have to enter from this, because this is closest to this door here. These guys are behind. Move these out of the way. So there's 2 level 1s. So I draw 2 spawn cards. Spawn card 1 is 2 more soldiers. So we got 2 more soldiers that come rushing in. Actually, I think it opens that door too, though. Is open and remains open, even if it was locked. So they opened that door for me. They came rushing in. They opened that door. So that's 1 spawn card. And then the second one is just a single B. So that's another soldier right there. All right, so that's the end of my turn. Then we have an enemy turn. The enemy turn goes as follows. The first thing we do is re-raise the alarm. Pre-alarm, which it currently is. If any enemy units are on alert, we advance the mission tracker by 1. They are not. They are only suspicious. Now, the spawn card said these 3 that just came in were at ease. That means there would be no token. However, since this room is already suspicious, they automatically become suspicious when they rush in. So we raise the alarm, nothing happens. Then we go to action stations. All alert enemy units on the map move. Do this in order as listed on the mission card. None of them are on alert. They're just suspicious. Kill the intruders. All alert enemy units that can attack do so. Do this in the order listed on the faction card. Now, make sure I'm not reading. Let me make sure I'm reading this correct. Right. Alert means they have to be completely flipped over, so actually, wait a minute. No, it's once per turn. This would not flip to alert, even as these guys ran in, because it was still Brick's turn, if I'm reading those rules correctly. So even though these guys now see my heroes back here, and it's the first time they've seen them, it was still Brick's turn. Therefore, the alert can only be raised that once per hero turn. So then we go kill intruders. All enemy units that can attack do so. None of these enemy units can attack because they're not alert. And then we check awareness. Check to see if any heroes are in line of sight of the enemy units. There are. So now this thing raises to alert. So now everybody in here is an alert. They rush in. What's going on? They don't immediately see anybody to attack, but then they line of sight. They see the guys behind the door here. And they're like, oh crap. Now, it's back to a hero turn. So Brick's already gone. Let's see here. Let's see. I used that one, so I didn't. I gotta put a token over here to indicate that this one weapon. I gotta put one of these jammed weapons here on top of Brick's the weapon I used for Brick, because I did not use a star to counteract that. Let's see. So who wants to go next? Who should I go next with? I think... But it's unreliable, and that's just going to make more noise. This is a hard decision. Let me look to see what Claudine... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What 5 cards Claudine has. Man. I kind of want to go with Sarge. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah. All right, what's a lethal attack? All right, here we go. We got to find out what a lethal attack is, but I know what I'm doing. Lethal. You may re-roll each black blank and red blank result once when making an attack test. Oh, man, that's great. Now, the other thing I gotta look and see is, can I attack the same spot with range? Nope, it cannot make range attacks. Okay. So if you're in melee, you can't. So I can't move in there because I'll be in melee. But I can still play... I can still play this card called I Got This. This is one of his special cards. This essentially means that it stays. The first icon here is, it's a free action. So that icon there is a free action. It's going to get discarded. And the noise dice is whatever I roll for my attacks. Now, it says each hero on the same or adjacent tile may move 1. So I'm going to do that. These guys are going to move 1. He's going to move 1. She's going to move 1. Sarge is still back here. Actually, wait. Sarge is back here. That's Red Hawk. Sarge is still back here. He's not moving. I could move him, but I do not want to. Then it says make 2 +1 black die lethal attacks. So the weapon I'm going to use for Sarge is I'm going to use his... Do I just want to use his pistol? What's versatile do? I'm sorry, there's a lot of keywords. Versatile. Versatile weapons may make ranged attacks against enemy units in the same area. Oh, so I could move him up. But he doesn't have burst, so I can't. It just makes 2 attacks. I got to use burst. So I got to use his one weapon here. It's a range 2. It does 3 black dice and 3 white die, but it is burst. So, attack number 1. I got 3 dice plus 1. And 3 noise dice. Now, another thing I gotta figure out is, do these noise checks get rolled all at once? Or does that happen after the effect? After the action. If a single action triggers multiple tests, make the one with the highest noise value. If a single action triggers multiple tests, my single action was to play that card. It's giving me 2 attacks that are going to trigger 2 separate noise, but I think I only make one of the noise checks. If I'm understanding this correctly, which I may not be. But that's how I'm going to play it, because it's better for me. So I've got my 3 dice, or my 7 die here, I guess. I got a blank. All right. I'm going to use that star for burst, which adds 2 more black die. Drat. All right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for attack number 1. And what did the lethal do? Lethal says, I don't think it was going to help me that much. Oh, no, I can reroll, yeah, each blank result. So I can reroll both of these once. All right, there's another success to add. Ooh. So right now I'm at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can add another one. I'm going to add another one and hope it's at least 2. It's not, it's 1, so it puts me at 9. Crap. All right, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't think I have anything that adds more than that. Just checking a few things here. I've been assuming. So like Burst says, once per attack, a star may be spent to add 2. It's got the black dice symbol and then 2 white to the total. Now, does that mean I roll 2 additional die? Or is that 2 successes? It does not say. Well, it says when it's that symbol, roll this number of attack die. So it's got to be adding additional die. All right, so nothing adds additional successes. I did burst that to go over. I don't think that gives me anything extra. Let me just double check. Oh no, it adds +2. Well, so each star is actually +2. So I actually have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have enough to kill this guy. Then I have enough to kill this guy. This is my. I'm going to move my die roll off here for the noise. I'll take care of the noise in a second. So my second attack is going to be, again, my second lethal attack is 2, or is a +1. So I'm rolling 4 dice with my burst. So that's a 1, that's a 2, there's a star. I'm going to burst with star. I'm going to re-roll this. That's still a blank. Then I'm bursting with star. That adds 2 more dice. There's 2 more. There's another star. So right now I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need 1 more. I'm going to burst 1 more. 10. That's enough to kill both those guys. So that kills that one, and then it kills that one. Now, that's my 2 attacks. Here's what I rolled for my noise check. Again, I'm assuming I'm just rolling one of the noise checks, even though it was 2 separate attacks. It was 1 action that triggered both attacks. So I may be wrong, but this is how I'm playing it. So that's 3, 4, 5 successes, plus I roll an additional white die. Man. All right. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I draw a noise card. Catastrophe. Add 3 to your total. So now I'm at 12. Well, add 3 white die to my total. So I'm at 9. Now I'm rolling 3 more. Oh, only 1 more. 10. All right, so I'm at 10. That was a good roll. The middle number is 8. So I'm over that, so I do the second part. Alert enemy units, immediately attack. This goes away. And actually, it's now clear. If they cannot attack, they move. This is not an activation. I don't have any alert units. So that's not actually terrible for me. So that was 1 action. Or actually it was a free action, so it doesn't even count as an action. Now what I'm going to do is I will search. Or no. I'm going to move. I'll move him up into here. Now I'm going to search. And I'm going to search to pick up this item right there. And that item right there says I got to roll 2 noise dice. That's 3. So I draw a noise card. Muffed it. Add 2 dice to the total. That's 2 more. I can't see what that one is. It's 1 more. So we're a total of 6. And it's 5. So it says, make the nearest non-suspicious room suspicious. The nearest. The nearest to him. It says room, not corridor. It's got to be this one. I had to put it up. I had to put it up over there. You'll see in a minute. I'll zoom back, or I'll move. That's probably the way I'm going to go. That's it. All right. So I put down my no spawn guy here, so this room is cleared. But then I did get this, so I get to pick it up. I get to flip it over. Looks like it's a potato masher. It's discarded upon use, and it does an explosion. So I'll put this on Sarge's board right there. And the explosion essentially is going to immediately set off the oh no. When triggered, the mission tracker is immediately advanced 2 rounds. So it's going to advance the tracker up there. All right, so now enemies go. Let's look here. Pre-alarm. If any enemy units are alert, advance the mission tracker by 1. There are no alert enemies. All alert enemy units on the map move. There are no alert units. Kill the intruders. All alert enemy units that can attack do so. This is do this in the order listed on the faction card. There are no alert units. Check awareness. Check to see if any heroes are in line of sight of enemy units. If necessary, raise the level of awareness. There are none. So, now we go to next player, which next hero will be I think it'll be Red Hawk. Red Hawk's going to move 1 into here. She's just going to get ready. What other actions can she do? Move once per turn. Attack. There's nothing to attack. I could open that door, but I don't really want to do that just yet. I can search. Ready equipment. Draw 2 cards. Well, let me get Red Hawk's 5 cards here. Maybe I could have played a card that would help me. Let's see. Let's look at that first. I'm just going to have her move. And she'll draw 2 cards. So I'll draw 2 more cards into her hand. Just so she's ready with more cards. Enemies go. Again, there's no enemy units. Nobody moves or does anything. Then we have Claudine. She is last, who has not gone. She's actually going to move 1 over to here. And then she's going to search. So she makes 2 white die roll. That's 3. I draw a noise card. Softly does it. Discard 1 heroic point or add 2 white dice to my total. I'll go ahead and add 2 white dice to my total. Oh, that was a bad idea. Or no, that wasn't a star. Sorry. So 2, 3, 6, 7, which happens to be more than the 6 on this card. And it says an enemy patrol appears. It is suspicious. So, and it's a level 1. So we'll draw a spawn card for a level 1. It's going to be B and C. So B is a soldier and C is a zombie. So, and they're going to pop in right. They have to pop in from this side over here, this door. It's actually going to open. So they can't come from here because Red Hawk's over here. They can't come from the entrance and they can't come from the exit. And there's no door or anything up here. So they have to come in from over here. So there's that, and now I got to get a zombie. Where are my zombies? There they are. One zombie. All right, so zombie. It's this one. Zombie B. They have 5 melee attack with +4 support. They have 7 defense. It says meat shield. Heroes may not make ranged attacks against other enemies in the meat shield's area while it is valid target. So basically, you got to kill the zombie first. And then they have relentless. That unit ignores any suppression effects, which we haven't used yet. And it will drop it'll drop a Vril token if we go for it. So I'll just set that there. And so that was my noise test. And now they get to go. It said it was suspicious. So that makes this room suspicious. So enemy turn. If any enemy units are alert, they're still not. I think I'm doing that right. I don't think this would automatically go to alert just because they're in the room. It says it was suspicious. They start in the room. They come in. They spawn. No, I think they would because it says the first time an enemy unit sees any hero, regardless of what causes it, do this up to once per room corridor per hero turn. So they come in under here and then they see these guys and then this goes to alert. The reason it didn't happen before is because it was still it already happened once on his turn when he opened this door and caused this room to go to that alert level. So it's not going to happen twice. These guys, it can happen. It only happened once. It only flipped because it came in, they were suspicious. Now they're alert. So now we have some enemy stuff to deal with. Raise the alarm, pre-alarm. If any enemy units are alert, advance the mission tracker by 1. Well, they are. So that goes up to 1. All alert enemies on the map move. Do this in order listed on the mission's faction card. So first, soldiers would move. They don't need to move. They're just there. And So, kill the intruders. All alert enemy units that can attack, do so. Do this in the order listed on the faction card. So the soldier attacks first. The soldier is going to attack in melee with 3 black die against Red Hawk. Or no, Claudine. Enemies never make noise test, obviously. So let's... so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for defense, how many defense dice do I roll? 2, I think. Let's see here. Wait a minute. Patrols enter through a closed non-exit door. The door must be closest to the door that the patrol peers through is open and remains open even if there are no doors. Then the patrols appear from the nearest barracks. If a patrol appears in line of sight of a hero, it is spawned immediately. Otherwise, the appropriate spawn tokens are placed on the map to represent it. The patrol appears or spawns with the level of awareness indicated by the card and then follows the usual level of awareness rules. Series in line of sight of a hero when the patrol appears. Oh, I see what they're saying. All right, yep. Kill the intruders. If more than one enemy unit of the same type attacks, you combine the attacks into one. Defense. During the enemy kill, the intruders, the heroes are at risk. They will roll 2 defense dice. Alright. So I roll 2 green die for Claudine. I got 5, which is equal to or less than that soldier guy. So that's good. Now the zombie goes, and he is melee. He gets 5 dice against Claudine. So I'm rolling 2 extra dice. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I got 2 defense dice. Now, does Claudine have anything that can help me here? She does not. So unless I could just get a bunch of bursts, that's my only hope, is to get a bunch of bursts. I got 1. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not enough. So he does more damage than I have defense. So I take a wound card. So I'll draw a wound card here. It says in bad shape. Here's what a wound card looks like. Again, 2 halves, upper and bottom. It says choose 1 card in your hand to remove from the game. Let's see here. Uh, I think I'm going to get rid of this Vive la France card. Then there's a number in the middle. It's 8. So the attacker did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Minus the 5 I have here. So he only has 4. 4 is less than 8, so I do not do the bottom half of this card. However, if I had 8 or more leftover wounds, the bottom part says you may only take 1 basic action per turn. This becomes a permanent wound, and I slide this under my board and to note that I always have that. But luckily I do not. I just had to get rid of a card. So I'll put all these dice over here off this side again. Now, oh wait, she picked this up. I don't even remember what that was. Looks like a walkie-talkie. What's that symbol mean? Is it on the reference card? Does not look like it. Well, let's look it up. What's a walkie-talkie do? All the items are in here as well. Radio. You may reroll blank results on non-noise tests once per action. All right, so she has this. Now it's always there. It's unlimited use, but it does cause me 2 additional white die when I use it. It's a passive effect. All right, so then check awareness. Check to see if any heroes are in line of sight. If necessary, raise the awareness level. It's already the highest it can go, so nothing happens. Now, end of round phase. So all the heroes each took a turn. So now we're at the end of the round phase. Once all heroes have had a turn, and the enemy has had a turn after each hero, there is the end of round phase. Any player with fewer than 5 cards draws 1. I think that might be Sarge. Yes. So Sarge draws a card. I didn't use any for him. She drew extra ones. She lost a card. So Claudine just lost a card, so she draws 1 card. Ooh, good one. All right. Then advance the mission tracker by 1 round. And then collect the turn order tokens ready for the next round, which I'm not using at this point because it's just me. All right, so let's see here. Back to me. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. What do I want to do? I think I'm just going to make an attack with Brick here. He's going to use his armor piercing, which I believe is going to hurt that zombie. Against a non-armored target, an armor piercing attack will inflict 2 wounds. Well, it's not going to do anything for me. Well, it doesn't. It's not going to do anything for me. I'm going to do it. Brick's going to go. He's got 4 dice. Armor piercing and unreliable. He's attacking the zombie there. Or do I want to use... Hold on, I might want to use... Yeah, I'm gonna go with Red Hawk. I'm gonna go with Red Hawk. And I'm gonna play Quickfire. It's a free action card. I'm gonna have to roll 3 white noise dice though. And it says make up to 2 lethal ranged attacks. So she has a rifle here that is accurate. And accurate means attacks may draw a line of sight through areas containing enemy units. In addition, accurate attacks ignore bodyguard and meat shield. So she's got 3 dice, so it makes 2 lethal ones. That means I can re-roll any blanks that I get. Alright, so here's attack number 1. That's 5 so far, so I'm going to go ahead and add an additional die. It's 2 more. 4, 5, 6, 7. That's actually enough to kill the zombie because the zombie needs 7. So the zombie is dead. Then my second attack is going to be against that soldier there. Lethal, so I re-roll 1 blank, or blanks once. I'm going to use that to add an additional die here. That's another one. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's enough to kill him. I'm not going to use this second burst to add another die. I'm going to use it to force him to drop loot. And he's going to drop a piece of random regular equipment. And he dies. Now, I have to roll my noise check for her. Man. 3, 4, 5, 6. Noise card. Oops, discard 1 card. So let's look here and see what I got to discard. It's going to be that one. I have 6, which equals... I'm pretty sure it's equal to... Let me double check that. Maybe I've been cheating myself. Just maybe. Just maybe. Equals or exceeds. Yep. So I got 6. And this is a 6, so it says alert. Enemy units immediately attack. There are none. If they cannot attack, they move. This is not an activation. So nothing basically happens, so that's okay. This then goes away. And she still has both of her actions left. I think I'm going to go for broke. She has 2 actions left. What she is going to do. What she is going to do. I've missed her keywords here. Focused and quick shot. Quick shot sounds like it's something I should have known about. Once per turn, during a ranged attack, a star may be spent to make an additional ranged attack. Okay. And then she has focused, which says this hero may reroll 1 black die per attack action. That's good to know. All right, so first action is going to be to open this door. That's going to spawn both those guys. So we'll spawn level 1 first. Level 1 is 2 Bs and 1 C. 2 Bs and 1 C. That's 2 soldiers. And 1 zombie. And then 2 back there is going to spawn. 2 is 3 Cs. That's 3 zombies. In the back. And this is the first time that they're seeing her, so this gets flipped from suspicious to alert. Now, that was a 2, so I got to roll 2 noise dice. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Oh, geez. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Draw an alert. That's just a bunch of symbols at the top. Reroll 1 white die. Okay. I'll reroll this 3. Of course. So now I'm 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And it's 4. An enemy patrol appears. It is at ease. Now it appears closest. It can't spawn here, so it has to spawn here. And it's 2 level 1s. So we draw 2 cards. 3 Bs, so it's 3 soldiers. Or rather, they'll spawn in this room, but they'll come from wherever's closest. We'll say it's through here. I need 1 more soldier. And then a second level 1, which is a B and a D. That's another soldier. And a D is Experiment 6XX. It's one of these dog-looking things. Well, that was a bad idea. It's one of these dog-looking things here. Oh, you guys can't even see that. All right. All right, I'm going to pause and rearrange my camera here just a bit. All right. Now you guys can kind of see what's going on. What I do with my, there it is, experimental guy here. You can see he's going to do 6 attack. He's got a +6 support. He's got a 6 defense. He's meat shield, so basically got to attack him first. Yep, it's just a dog with a weird mechanical arm coming out of him. All right, so, however, I'm going to play Covering Fire. This is one of her special abilities. It's a free action. It is going to cause burst, but that's just going to have to deal with it. Make a ranged attack on each enemy unit within range in one direction. If you fail to wound any targeted unit, this Covering Fire ends. So, meat shield has got to be either the Experiment 6XX or the zombies. So first, we're just gonna go after the Experiment 6XX. All right. That's 3 dice. Get these out of the way. Well, I'm going to play this tactical card, which gives me an automatic success, or a burst rather. So I get a burst, and then I get to roll an additional die, because that's what I'm going to use it for. That's a second burst, so I'll get to roll an additional die. That's 2. So I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. His defense is 6. That's enough to kill him. So he's dead. That was successful, the Covering Fire, so now I get to make another attack. That attack is going to be at the zombie. Wow. That's 6, 7, 8, which is more than that defense. So, I'm actually going to use that star to make him drop some loot. And he's going to drop one of these Vril loots. But he's dead. So that attack was successful, so I keep going. 3 zombies in the back. 3. Focus, which I forgot about the other time, I believe allows me to re-roll that one of those blanks. Yep, 1 die, 1 black die per action. So I'll re-roll that. That's 5. Need 7. Do I have any other cards that'll help me? Yeah. I'm going to play this Deadly, which gives me 3. That puts me at 8. which kills him. Kills one of these guys. Then keep going. Another attack. That's 7, which is enough to kill the next one. And I keep going. Come on. 6, blank. I can re-roll this. 7, that's enough to kill him. And I keep going. Look at her. She's going through all... Let's see. She's gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's gone through 5 bullets in that. I don't know what kind of rifle that is, but the magazine does not look very large. Okay. Okay, so soldiers are all that's left. Nothing special about soldiers. They have 4 defense. So I'll use that for 1 to drop a loot from him. Kill him. Next one. 3, 4, 5, 6. That's enough to kill another one. It's enough to kill 1, plus I'll make him drop a loot. Enough to kill 1, plus he drops a loot. She is banging. Red Hawk. That's 4. It's enough to kill 1, plus they'll drop a loot. Enough to kill him. No loot dropping, though. Kablam! And she still has 1 action left because that was a free action. Oh, that spawn token goes away. That goes away. That is now cleared. I'm going to have her move in here. She wades through the sea of bodies. Now, the other thing, this is good. We got to a room here with a packing crates. This is a card that goes down according to the map. And we're going to go over that here real quick. That is a room feature. And where did I see that? Room features. Face down at the beginning of the game. When a hero can draw a line of sight to this room feature, the card is flipped and the... Oh, I should have triggered it already. Well, crap. All right, I should have triggered... This should have flipped when I opened up this door. But let's go ahead and flip it. It says lots of cover. Heroes in this area gain +1 defense die. Enemy units in this area gain +2 defense. That would have probably negated a lot of what I just did. I would have been able to do the +3. That would have got me past the 1. I still could have burst the other one. The third one... I don't know if I would have been able to do. Because this only applies to this area up here, not the whole map tile. So I may not have been able to kill all 3 of those zombies back there. But It's too late for me to run back and do that now. So I'm just going to continue on and just chop it up as a learning experience. But most likely, all the guys down here would have been alive. The dog would have been dead. 2 of the zombies up there would have been dead, but the third or the dog and the zombie here would have been dead. 2 zombies up there would have been dead. 1 zombie would have been alive, and then all other soldiers would have been alive there. Well, we could do that. Run back here. Him. He stays. He comes off. I've got 1 zombie back here. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. Yep, that's right. Okay. All right, so then they would go. So they get an enemy turn. Or no, she still has a turn. What can she do? I can make an attack. I could run away. Oh wait, let's see. That's still on alert. I can move away. I don't know if that's going to help me. It's not going to hurt me. Yep, I'm not running away. I'm staying here. I'm attacking. 3 dice. I'm shooting at the zombie there in the back. If I can get rid of him, I'll be alright. But he's +2 defense, so he's 9 defense now. Wait a minute. Oh, burst. My noise for doing that card was a explosion. I knew I was forgetting something. And that explosion, that boom. No, it's a bang. Pre-alarm. When a bang is triggered, the mission tracker is immediately advanced 1 round. That goes up to 4. Now, focus, so I can re-roll this. 6, 7, 8. No, 6. Well, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which would normally be enough to kill him. But is there anything I can do? There's nothing. Nothing. Crap. All right. So that doesn't do anything. But I do have to roll 2 noise dice. Three, 4, 5, 6. Reroll 1 non. Maybe I'm supposed to be rolling this at the same time. Or no. Yeah. All right. So that's what I had. Reroll 1 non-white die. It actually helped me. It was still not enough. and I'm at 6 noise, which is more than the 3 that's on the card. And it says an enemy patrol appears. It is at ease. We'll say it appears through this door. It's 2 level 1s. So we're spawning 1 soldier and 1 zombie. And they're going to spawn right there. Actually, we don't know what they are. They're just 2 level. Well, they're going to be there. I should have just put the spawn tokens down because I don't have line of sight. So I don't know what those actually are yet. But they're at ease. Now, enemy turn. Yes, enemy turn. Okay. If any enemy units are on alert, advance the mission tracker by 1. That goes up to 5. All alert enemy units on the map move. Do this in the order listed on the mission's faction card. So officers first, there are none. Soldiers. They're not going to move because they like their range, so they're just going to stick there. And then zombies will move 1. And patrols don't move. So these two guys here will just stay here. Because they're technically patrol. I don't know what those are yet. Right? Let me make sure patrols don't move. I'm pretty sure they don't. Action stations. Yep. They do not move. Now, the soldiers will then make an attack. So the first one attacks, he rolls 4 dice. And then he has +2 support. And the +2 support, just want to make sure I get this right here. The support value of each additional attacker of that type. This total becomes the target number for the hero's defense. Alright, so I roll the 4 dice. +2 for each type? Is that what it said? Or +2 for each unit? Let's look here. Nominate 1 unit as the main attacker and use their attack value. Add the support value of each additional attacker of the type. So it's +2, so it's going to be... Alright, we'll see the guy up front, he's attacking. He rolls 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 is my target number. And I have 2 defense. You know what? I'm going to spend a heroic defense thing to automatically pass this defense test before I roll it, because I pretty much know I'm going to fail it. So I will spend that. I automatically pass the defense test. Take no damage, no wounds. Now, check awareness. Check to see if any heroes are in line of sight. They are, but it can't increase anymore than how much it already is. Now it's back to another hero turn. Man, I really want to try to take all those guys out. Does Brick have anything he can do? What about Sarge? I really need to clear a ton of that stuff out of there. Man, but that's... What does precise do? It's a lot of... in all attacks, each blank adds 1 hit to the total. That's not bad. Oh, she's way in the back, though. Alright, I need to clear some of these guys out first. Actually, no, she can take 1 more hit. Oh, no. Alright, he's going to ready. Brick's going to go next. He's going to ready his weapon. And then he is going to move 1 into here. And then... It's going to go up by 1 anyways. I just have to do it. I'm just going to try to get through this. This video is already going a little long. I'll do Double Trouble. It's a free action. Draw 2 cards. Oh, good. Those will come in nice and handy. Then it says make a +1 black die attack with each of your weapons. So we'll go first with the armor piercing, because we have to fight. Oh, actually it's 5 dice, and this is against the zombie. Armor piercing rounds do 2 wounds. That's more than enough to kill him. That's 2, 4. Well, that's 6, 12. I mean, that's a ton. Now, it's unreliable. So what I'll do is I'll spend this. So that's 6, 12. Yeah, it's way a ton. I think that's right. Armor piercing. I think it said it does 2 wounds. Double check. Attacks with armor piercing may damage an armored target. Against a non-armored target, and an armor piercing attack will inflict 2 wounds. Is that 2 additional wounds, maybe? Maybe. Okay. So maybe that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 because it's armor piercing. Okay. Either way, I'm going to spend that to not have it, because since it's unreliable, to not have it jam. So that, he's dead there. Then I'll make an attack with my burst, and I'm rolling 5 dice for that. With my other gun, it's burst and it's unreliable. So this is the one where I can pop off, which is what I wanted to do. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is going to burst, and it adds 2, which are both blanks. But I will spend a tactical card, which gives me a free burst. So I'll just change one of these to a burst. I'll add an additional die. It's a blank too. Alright, well, we'll spend this other tactical card, which gives me another burst. So we'll change one of those to a burst, and we'll re-roll one of these. And that's a blank. Good Lord. Alright. Do I have anything else to increase his? Nope. Alright. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I can kill this one. So I can kill 3 of them. So kill those 3. Now, because I didn't spend a star to stop his weapon from jamming, it jams. And let's see, how many dice do I roll for those 2 attacks? Or no, it's the burst. So this just goes up by 1. And then that's it. That's all I'm doing. Raise the alarm. Any enemy units are alert. Advance the mission tracker by 1. Bam! Now the alarm is triggered. So when the alarm triggers, Setting off the alarm. Finish the current action or enemy turn. So we'll finish this enemy turn. All alert enemies on the map move. They're not going to move. Then they're going to attack. So they get the 4 dice for the one guy. And then he has +2 to whatever he rolls for his support. And he rolls 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I roll 2 defense. And they're targeting... let's see. Do they choose a target? Or... kill the intruders? Two heroes are equidistant. Enemy will attack the hero who's most recently had a turn. So he's going after Jeff. Or not Jeff. Brick. And Brick has 2 dice. He also has strong and counter. What do those do? Strong. Gain 1 black die on unarmed attack test and 1 die on defense test, so he's rolling 3, and then his counter allows him once per defense. A star may be spent to make an attack against a unit that attacked this hero. Okay. So he's got 3 defense dice. That'll be a burst. And it's a blank. Alright, I'm going to spend this card. It says, Garuff, when you fail a defense test, ignore all damage from the attack. So I'm going to ignore that damage. And then we go on with the enemy turn. Check to see if any heroes are in the line of sight of enemy units. If necessary, raise the alert awareness. It's not necessary. So that was the finished enemy turn. Now we do raising the alarm, or setting off the alarm. Immediately go to the end of the round phase for that round. Any player with fewer than 5 cards, draw a card. That would be Red Hawk. That would be Brick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's a lady. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just those 2. Advance the mission tracker by one round. I'm not going to win this mission. Probably call it after this, but we'll see what happens here. Collect turn order tokens, blah, 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 blah. All right. Once the end of the round phase is complete, the alarm triggers. Place the round marker on the alarm. Trigger all remaining spawn tokens on the map. So that's where I would go through here and spawn all these other tokens on the board here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to call it a night here. Remove all awareness level tokens. So this would come off the board because everybody's alerted now. So I don't have to worry about really keeping track of that. And then replace the pre-alarm noise deck with the post-alarm noise deck. So there's a second deck of cards for the alarms that I go through when doing noise checks. Then end all ongoing action card effects. So if I had an action card out here that had an ongoing effect until the start of my player or my hero's next turn, that would initially go away, or instantly go away. The enemy immediately takes a free turn outside of the normal turn sequence, so the enemies would all activate. Place the round marker on the first position of the post-alarm track, so that would go to position 4, and then we start the next round. And I basically would have 4 rounds to get to the last room and kill the gal up there, and then get out the door, the exit. So I want to pause. So I'm going to call it a game. I'm not going to get there. I think I had some really bad rolls on the noises. The spawns up here in this area killed me. Um, and I probably could have played a lot better. It's just too much for one person to handle four players. You can play with less, and they do give you like one player or one of your heroes will get a free open door / unlock action. But I didn't feel like playing with less than four, just because I wanted to just kind of see how all this went. Um, so probably should have been more stealthy, more quiet. It does seem like it's going to be a fun game, especially with more players where I can focus on my character and what I can and can't do. There's just a lot going on right now. Um, uh, I like the dice rolling aspects. Um, I like the card play. I like how there's two halves to the card you can choose. Um, I like the burst. I'm a big fan of the burst system that Zombicide uses and the others use. Is it zombie? No, it's the others it uses and not Zombicide. Um, big fan of the burst system with the dice rolling. I like the loot. I like how it's not cards, it's just tokens, and then there's just iconography. Now there's a ton of iconography that you then have to look up, but it's better than having these dashboards are nice and concise, and you don't have to worry about having a hand of nine items you've picked up, cards that you have to go through. You just have your deck of cards and your dashboard, and you're good to go. Um, I like the idea that the patrols and the spawn points are all hidden until you hit line of sight. That way you don't know what you're going to run into. Um, the spawn deck is pretty robust in what's spawning, and it just says, it's A, B, or C, or D, or blah, 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 blah. And you have a card that's going to be different for each mission or each raid. I do like how it's timed. You do feel rushed. You can't lollygag around. Um, it's fairly simple, but yet the strategy, the complex strategy is there. Um, I do want to pause here and go down to or expand one of these cameras here real quick to show you something with the enemies and how all the enemies that I fought so far were just one wound to kill. I want to show you the cards of how they can take multiple wounds. So I'm just going to pause here for a moment. All right. So here we have Gisela Gruber. This was the bad guy. Um, she has 5 ranged attack, or five attack at one range, 5 melee. She has 10 defense. She has all these special abilities here. But then down here at the bottom, it has this wound symbol. So once I would do more than 10 or more attack, to her, rather than just killing her outright, this symbol means it flips. So her card flips over, and now you have to do another 10 wounds to her. Now let's see. It's the same abilities. No, she then has Coward. She has Coward instead of Dug In. So she runs away, kind of, or she's cowardly. Um, so that's how that would work. And that's that. So she basically has two. You have to do 2 wounds to her, 2 damage. You have to do 20 in total, but you have to hit her twice essentially. Um, the other example of this is with these Vril Panzers, and that's one of these huge, gigantic mechs. There's that armored keyword that the armor piercing would help with, but you'll see here there's a 1 up in this corner, and then there's the wound symbol flip. So once we do the first 10 damage, this card would get flipped. And it's the red 1. Okay? Then we're going to do 10 more damage. Then there's another wound flip. So we get rid of that card, and we go to his second card, 2 gray. And we have to do a third set of 10 wounds to him. And then he's finally dead. You flip the card over, there's nothing there. But that's how they sort of do multiple uh, wounds for an enemy. Um, pretty fun game. Um, yeah, there's a lot to wrap my head around. The setup time was rather, um, at least for a raid map, was rather extensive. I don't think the mission maps are as big, but they might be. Um, but it seems like it's going to be a fun game. Um, yep. So that is Reichbusters Projekt Vril. There's a bunch of different expansions for it as well, that I haven't gotten into, haven't opened up, but we might get to those at some point. And yeah, thanks for watching. If I run across any rules corrections, I'll try to throw them in the comments. Um, but I think I got most of the stuff correct. So thanks for watching.